He is Will Middlebrooks. I am Danny Vietti. This is the WAKE and RAKE Podcast. What up, people? Episode 126. Let's talk awards, Brooksy. MVP is in. Cy Young is in. Rookie of the Year is in. A lot of controversy, man. A lot of controversy.
Hey, can you, before we get into that, can you say your name again? I feel like you're saying it more Italian these days.
Vietti.
No, it was like a really quick Vietti.
Danny Vietti.
It was like a Guy Fieri, you know?
I'm kind of...
Say mozzarella. How do you say mozzarella?
Mozzarella. You want me to say it like naturally or with an accent?
Like lineage.
Mozzarella. I'm not really Italian. There's members of my family, according to Ancestry.com, they were adopted.
I was going to say you were adopted, but we're good.
That's still up for debate. Yep.
How tall is your dad?
5'9". My mom's 5'6". I'm 6'6".
Like I was saying.
Milkman was involved. Yeah.
The big ass milkman. All right, let's get into this, into the awards. I was just, because you said Vietti, like with a little spicy meatball to it, you know? So I was like, oh, okay, you getting a little saucy on me. No pun intended.
We're really going to go off the rails in this episode. I could already.
Okay, good.
And I'm perfectly okay with it. Okay. You go to an Italian restaurant, you and Jenny, nice restaurant. Not too fancy, but like a nice Italian restaurant. Not an Olive Garden. What's your order?
Like a stock order or like...
What's your go-to?
I have separate orders. Like if it's like a very authentic, like homemade, they make their pasta in-house, they make their sauces right there. I want like a really good carbonara.
Ooh, spicy?
A little bit, not really, but it's just more like it's a creamy sauce. It's like bacon, prosciutto, whatever, you know, in there. It's got the egg. It's just, I don't know. It's chef's kiss. Now if I'm going to just a middle of the road Italian spot, chicken parm, except I don't, it always comes with spaghetti and red sauce on the side. I go fat boy. All right. I go chicken parm, normal, red sauce, cheese, normal, but I get a side of fettuccine Alfredo on the side.
Damn, double dip.
Yeah, you should try it. The combination of like, because you get the combination, it's almost like a little vodka sauce action when they start combining. The flavors are very good.
You said before you jumped on this Zoom call here, you were hiding your tummy. I think I know why.
Brother, I'm getting locked back in. I'm back on the F40. I'm back on the F45 train. So I've been since baseball, because in season it's hard, man. Like I'm on the road a lot. I gotta be better with hotel workouts.
Yeah,
but it's tough. Like you get back, it's like 11. The boys are like, let's grab a drink. You know, you grab a drink with them, and then you're like, man, that $72 room service pizza sounds really good right now. You know,
I have a good story for you on a very related topic, but. Okay. BetOnline comes first. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting and spicy carbonara. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC, MMA, and spaghetti, head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering and pasta. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Is that legal?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if betting's legal, you can talk about pasta.
Pasta odds, I'm in. All right, here's my story.
All right, go for it. Then we got to talk awards.
Then we'll talk awards. We'll get there. So on Monday, CBS sent me down to LA for the red carpet event for the movie premiere of Gladiator.
That's a flight for you, right? That's far drive.
It's a 45-minute flight. Yeah, it's 7-hour drive, 6-hour drive. Gladiator 2, first of all, the movie is phenomenal. Did you watch the first one?
What is it? Say again?
Gladiator.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, Gladiator 2. I misunderstood you. I saw the first one, of course. One of my favorite movies ever.
Well, the sequel is phenomenal, and I'm not saying that
normally sequels suck on movies like that. Now, if you're talking like Toy Story or like the Santa Claus or Friday, sequels are good.
That was a major range of movies right there.
You're welcome. That means I'm firing on all cylinders right now. But no, I thought Gladiator 2, I saw the trailer and I was like, that ain't it. There's no way this is good. But if you say it's good, I'll hold you to that.
It's 2.5 hours, but it's 2.5 hours of just straight action. And I'm not marketing here. I'm not getting paid by anybody to say this. Okay.
Wish you were.
It's a really good flick.
Okay. Good to know.
Uh,
That's a long movie. I don't know if I have that much time with my kids, but is it like super gory or is it like really good? You said it's constant action, but is it good storyline?
are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Yeah, I like Game of Thrones.
It's Game of Thrones without dragons
Okay. Sweet.
and a
Okay.
little bit more uh, sport in that it is
Is there
about
is there
like,
incest in this one too or no?
um, I, I don't know. Probably.
Spoiler. All right.
Well, there's nothing worse than watching Game of Thrones with your parents in the room.
Yeah, it's always a tit.
Yeah, and it's always incest.
Or like a brothel.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Now
Anyways.
that we got that out of the way, by the way, the reason I brought that up is because my room service bill was $95. Some steak frites.
I can guess your order. What did you order late at night?
11 p.m.
Okay, so like probably like the every hotel. Where'd you stay?
The Luz Hotel in Hollywood.
The Luz.
The Luz.
Okay, was it not? It was nice.
It was nice. It was a nice spot.
Okay, so every hotel, regardless of whether it's a Four Seasons, a Ritz, a Luz, whatever it is, they have a stock late night turkey sandwich.
Stop. Come on. I would not get a turkey sandwich at
Brother.
11 p.m. at night. Come on,
No,
brother.
no, they have it's like bacon. It's like a nice sandwich, fries. I'm just saying every hotel has that stock option for the late night menu because there's not the chicken tenders, pizza, and I
Yeah.
always feel like for the money, the sandwich is the best choice.
When
Anyways, what'd you order?
when money is not an option and you have company card, you order the steak frites and the wings, and it comes with a salad, and it was a buffet, my friend, and it was delicious.
I'm actually surprised it was under $100.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Huh? Was it good? Was it good?
It was very, very solid. Yeah.
Luckily, for everyone listening, you can fast forward through all this. But if you made it this far, cheers, and I
You can
appreciate you.
also download and subscribe to the Wake and Rake podcast and don't miss anything. You won't miss any of our pasta opinions or baseball opinions.
All
Before we
right.
get into the awards, Brooksy, automated ball strike system. So
Yeah, what's going on with this right now?
I'll keep you updated. I'm reading this straight from CBSSports.com. So Rob Manfred had a press conference this week, commissioner of baseball, and he said that he wants robo umps by 2026, and Major League Baseball will test robot umps this upcoming spring in 2025. Now, it was
Okay.
implemented in the minor leagues this past year. It was also implemented, as you noted before this recording, that it was also implemented in the Arizona Fall League.
The
Your
last
thoughts
two seasons.
as a former player, as baseball is inevitably going to have this automatic ball strike system, if not in 2026, and very, very soon.
So I love the human aspect, but I also love calls being right. So, um, I mean, I'm assuming you'll still have a human back there. It'll be a buzzer or whatever, so know if it's a strike or not, because they use a buzzer already for other things too, right? With the pitch clock, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing it'll be in the same system as far as buzzing down striker ball. Um, I know guys can what we've seen in the Arizona Fall League, we saw in the minor leagues last year, guys can challenge pitches. They get how many challenges? Three, I think. I believe it was three. You'll see hitters step out and they can tap their head. I believe pitchers can do it too, right?
Yes. I'm reading about it as you speak right now.
So
According to this article, it just says that there is a certain amount of challenges
yeah.
allocated to each
So
team.
it would be the same thing as like a manager. Like you have to pick your spots. Like nobody on base, two outs in the second inning. You're probably not going to challenge a borderline call unless you know for sure, like 100%, this is a ball. He screwed up. It hit the dirt in front of the catcher's glove. All right. Um, otherwise, you're saving those challenges for like sixth, seventh inning on, where you're in big spots, or even if it is early in the game, bases loaded, would have been ball four to get a run on the board, then yeah, you challenge it if it's close in that situation. But I would assume there's going to be a strategy to it. So I don't love it, but I understand I have to grow with the game, right? I would love an umpire to be back there, but old school baseball is gone, and the game has evolved in so many ways. And this is just what's next. So you're still going to get the human behind the plate. You're still going to have someone call safe and out, foul balls, fair balls, stuff like that, box, all that. But if they can get this system right, I know there was a lot of things they had to work out the kinks on as far as the system getting it correct. But if Manfred's on board right now and he's saying we were going to bring it in, you got to think they got it smoothed out.
So in 2024 in the minor leagues, each team was allowed to challenge as many as they could until they got 3 unsuccessful challenges.
That's what, okay. So it was 3. Okay.
Yep. So 3 unsuccessful challenges and then you're out.
What about an extra innings? Did I say? Do they give you, if you're out of challenges and extra innings, do you get another one?
I don't believe so, but don't quote me on it.
I would think you do because it's the same thing with coaches' challenges.
Yeah.
It's probably along the same lines, I would assume. If you play extra innings, you're definitely going to get another challenge.
Yeah, you're probably. I don't have that answer.
How do you feel about it?
It's inevitable at this point.
That's how I feel.
As a pitcher, here's my worry with it is I believe we're going to have a pitcher that comes along that throws a nasty, nasty sweeping slider, slurvy curveball.
They're already there, brother. Just look at Blake Trinan right now.
And it just barely nicks the edge of the strike zone, and they can call it for a strike every time. Somebody is going to, just like Max Scherzer did with a pitch clock 2 years ago. They're going to, anytime that
they're going to manipulate it where like they stand on the rubber and like they're going to try to get better extension for certain reasons. And also, I think an aspect of this we're leaving out is defensive catchers outside of framing won't matter.
Yeah.
Framing will not matter whatsoever. So you just got to you want to have a guy with an absolute hose back there and a good arm, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I went right over your head. It was just hard to do at 6'7". 6'6", excuse me. I gave you an extra inch. You're welcome.
Milkman.
But you're gonna be seeing a change in scouting when it comes to catchers, as far as you're more offensive leaning catchers.
Yeah.
Because it's already hard to throw guys out because the base stealing is through the roof with the bigger bases and the limited pickoffs and all that. So
are you okay with that? Like how much do you value framing?
Major League Baseball is always searching for more offense.
Yeah. But like you as a fan, you individually, do you care about framing?
As a fan, no, it pisses me off. And I'm like, that was 8 inches outside and it got a strike. But that might be me as a hitter. You as a pitcher might view it differently, like that was sick.
If a strike's a strike, whether the catcher brings it back or not, that's the way I see it. But like,
yeah, we're gonna see like those big curveballs that like can bounce right behind the plate but nick the bottom of the zone. 12-6, big tall right-handers, or big tall pitchers. And you're gonna have, which here's I keep like stuff keeps popping up in my head. Okay, sorry. So if that's the case, if a guy has a really good 12-6 breaking ball that is able to clip the front of the zone, but as a hitter, it feels like that bounced. Like how am I going to hit that? That bounce where my back foot is. So if you have a really good 12-6 curveball and a really good fastball with ride at the top of the zone, that's going to be great because number one, yes, it's an eye level thing. It comes out the same tunnel. One drops, one stays up above the barrel, but hitters are going to try to combat that curveball and get in the front of the box, and the fastball is going to play up even more.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be this whole new cat and mouse that we've already seen the last couple of years with the rule changes. And now there's going to be this whole new wave of trying to get the edge, both offensively and on the pitching side of things. So I don't know. That part will be fun to see guys kind of like, I don't know, the chess moves, I guess. Like, how do you gain an advantage?
The first guy that comes to mind is Adam Ottavino. Like that slider just barely touches the outside corner.
Like trying and sinker, dude.
Yeah, that too. But like righty on righty, and the ball ends up in the left-hander's batter's box, but it's a strike.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good.
Guys like that, you're just going to have to get up in the box.
Is that good for the game?
I mean, by rule, that's always been a strike. It just doesn't get called.
Yeah.
By rule, it's a strike. the batter's box goes up far enough, you can combat that. You're just going to have to really gear up when you're giving up 2 feet on 97.
One more question I'll ask you on this. If pitchers are likely going to be the most advantageous in that change because they're going to be able to manipulate the rule to their advantage. So if Major League Baseball wants more offense, wouldn't that be counterproductive? Advantage pitcher?
I think Major League Baseball is just fed up with look, the strike zones are on TV now.
Yeah.
There's umpire audits all over Twitter where you can see report cards on every game.
It's insane.
And it's actually like really hard what umpires do, especially in today's game with guys' stuff and everybody throwing 100 with splits and sweepers and all, all nasty stuff. So it's a really hard job. So when guys are going out there getting 95%, that's really good. But they might have two really bad calls in big spots, and that's all anyone thinks about, and they crush them for. And I started thinking too when I saw that they're going to start implementing this in spring training, and Manfred wanted to push it. Was that maybe a reason we didn't see the best umpires in baseball in the playoffs in the World Series? Because it was kind of like, see, we need it. They weren't good.
Yeah.
There were a lot of games where the umpires were locked in. They were really good. But there were times in the postseason where you're like, brother, like, is this game too fast for you? You're not even playing. Which they're human, right? Could be the biggest game they've ever umpired in their life. That matters. We shouldn't discount that because they're umpires and not players. That heart rate still gets up. It's a big game. So I think Manfred just trying to take that out. And it's like you said, it's inevitable. It's coming.
I think the job has just gotten too difficult for humans, honestly. Like the ball's flying. I mean, we're gonna
try hitting it.
yeah. No, I'm good actually. Yeah. I will just pass.
These guys just got to see if it crosses that white thing at knee high or under the tits, right?
Yeah.
Try hitting it in the gap.
Yeah.
The hitters, well, we always talk about, man, pitchers are so good. Dude, hitters are freaking good right now too. I know everybody's down on hitters right now. Oh, they just want to hit homer. We went through the lift, the launch angle phase and all that. It's kind of cycled back a touch where guys are getting back to line drives, especially with the banning of the shift and this and that. There's more spots to get hits, and batting average all of a sudden starts to matter more with guys that can get on base and steal bases now. Which all those rule changes, when they all came out, I was like, I hate this. I'm a baseball purist. I don't want this to change. Looking back now, I was an idiot. I was wrong. And I'm okay saying that because I love the changes to the game. I loved the pitch clock. I was heartbroken when we went to a pitch clock. I'm like, this is completely ruining the game that I've always loved. And I was on record saying this is dumb. It's going to ruin the game. It didn't. It made it a lot better. And I'm okay being wrong. I'm glad I was wrong because the game's a lot more enjoyable to watch.
Get rid of mound visits next.
Yeah.
Yep. Shohei Ohtani, National League MVP. Aaron Judge, American League MVP. Both were unanimous. In the National League, it went in this exact order for MVP voting. Ohtani, Lindor, Ketel Marte from Arizona, Marcell Ozuna, William Contreras, Bryce Harper, Chris Sale, Ellie De La Cruz, and then Jackson Merrill and Willie Adames. For the American League, Judge was unanimous. After that went Bobby Witt Jr. And second, Juan Soto third, Gunnar Henderson fourth, Jose Ramirez, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Tarek Skubal, Jarren Duran, Yordan Alvarez, Brent Rooker.
What place did Duran finish? 7th?
8th.
8th. Good for him.
He was left off the all MLB team.
Brother, don't get me going. Mookie played 43 games in outfield.
150, yeah, in the outfield. You're right. In the outfield,
and he got an outfield spot.
Yeah.
If anything, he should be getting that option in the infield, which he wouldn't have made it. But 43 games over a guy that had a season like that. And I got a lot of flack for saying that, but people are like, you really want to compare Mookie to Jarren Duran? I'm like, brother, yeah, I do. This season, I do.
Yeah,
Jarren Duran, especially when you're looking at games played in the outfield. Jarren Duran played 160, not 43. I love Mookie. Mookie's one of this generation's best players. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm not comparing Mookie Betts to Jarren Duran when you're looking at the total career. But this season, Jarren Duran was a better outfielder. Sorry. Am I
Here's where
wrong?
no, I'm we're in the same boat here, pal.
And I know,
Full
look,
agreement.
and another rebuttal from people was it's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal to that player.
Yeah,
And it might not matter as much to the Aaron Judges and the Juan Sotos and the Mookie Betts because they have plenty of these. This is the first chance Jarren Duran has had at one of these, and he earned it, and he didn't get it. That's all I'll say.
Here's where I get frustrated with Major League Baseball and their awards. I'm absolutely fed up with Gold Glove awards. I think it's an absolute joke, an absolute disaster. There's
Why?
no merit to these Gold Glove awards because everybody has their own individual statistics that they prefer. Some
At
prefer
least,
and use
at
new
least
metrics.
Gold Glove was getting really ridiculous before they started using metrics to determine it. Because you were seeing guys get Gold Gloves because they were good hitters.
Yeah. Juan
Like
Soto was
what?
a finalist last year.
Like what? What are we doing? At least now they're using outs above average and like range and like all these defensive metrics to say, oh, these are the best by the numbers. So there's actually science and numbers behind the picks. So I can get behind it a lot more this year
But
or the last couple of years.
here's the real issue is that we're using these awards to determine whether a player gets into the Hall of Fame or not. Like when we go to Hall of Fame candidacy 5 years after they retire, and we say, "Oh my gosh, he won 7 Silver Sluggers, he won a batting title, he made 8 All-Star games, and oh by the way, he also won 5 Gold Gloves." How much weight does that hold nowadays? Because
Yeah, but now, but if you're metrically one of the best defenders, shouldn't you?
100%. I don't think that it's all based on metrics, though. The fact that Juan Soto was a finalist for the Gold Glove a year ago in San Diego,
Yeah,
that's a joke. And to
I
add
would
on,
have to go back and like compare to the guys he was going up against there and that with that, and
Nicky,
I
remember we had Nicky Lopez on our podcast maybe
3 years ago.
4 years ago when he was
Yeah.
with Kansas City? He literally led American League shortstops in every metric possible: outs above
Yeah.
average, defensive runs saved, defensive wins above replacement. He wasn't even a finalist for the Gold Glove
Right.
Award. And
Right.
he
And I
played
think if he had those same
140
numbers
games.
this year, he would have won.
I hope so.
Actually, no, he wouldn't because Bobby Witt would have won. But Bobby
Francisco
Witt,
Lindor. Francisco Lindor played what 155 games at shortstop for the Mets, and he wasn't a Gold Glove finalist this year.
which is crazy.
And
Um,
one more added layer to this is that the Rookie of the Year numbers, which we'll get to, the Rookie of the Year voting does not match up with the MVP award voting. So Paul Skeens won the National League Rookie of the Year award. If you look at National League MVP, Jackson Merrill got more MVP votes than Paul Skeens did. Similarly, in the American League,
I think that's just because they don't view MVP as a pitcher award.
well, then why are we viewing Rookie of the Year as a pitch as a
If you want to get into that, like I am all on board for there being a hitter and a pitcher award for rookies
That's exactly what I'm getting. That's exactly the basis of my point
because
here.
there should be because Jackson Merrill should have been Rookie of the Year. But so should Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
He was a Cy Young finalist. Like he got third in the Cy Young.
Yep.
He did things no rookie's ever done in the history of baseball as a rookie pitcher. Had he been up the whole year, he would have been pushing Sale for the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Not probably not wins. Probably not wins. I don't think their team was good enough. But Chris Sale wouldn't have won Triple Crown. Skeens would have probably struck out more guys. But here nor there. Also, Zach Wheeler, great season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. But back to Skeens, like they got it right with Skeens. Like he had to be Rookie of the Year, and I agree he was. But so was Merrill, man. They both deserved it in different ways. They both do things the other can't do. And that's why there should be two awards.
This is, on the surface, this is why I'm laying out this point here. Now, obviously, if you dive into this number, there's a lot more that goes into it. But just on the surface, total innings played this season. Paul Skeens, 133 innings pitched. Jackson Merrill played 1,323 in the third innings.
Do this though. Look at bats versus hitters face, and it's pretty close.
It was comparable. It
It
was
was
comparable.
both over five. It was both between 500 and 600.
But now you're completely forgetting about what Jackson Merrill did defensively.
Oh, dude, I'm with you. No, I'm with you. Like, I love the kid. Tanner Houck hadn't given up a home run at Fenway in like, I don't know. It was like whenever San Diego came to Fenway, it was like May or June, and he'd yet to given up a home run to a lefty, and Merrill clipped his ass to left center. And that's when Tanner Houck was like locked. And I was like, who's this? And that was like the start of his like trajectory, like to where he was, because he had the first 2 months where he struggled, and they were like, he had this good spring training. He made the team. This guy's a stud. Um, what is he? He's kind of like that he couldn't get over the fence, right? And it's like he hit that ball against Tanner Houck to left center over the monster, like deep left center, not left, like closer to center field where it's a bomb for a lefty. And I was like, man, who is this? And then all of a sudden he started tearing the cover off the ball, and he carried that team in the second half.
Yeah.
Really did.
No, I mean, you know this about me too. Like, I always lean toward the era of pitcher because I was a pitcher, but I also know that a hitter that plays every day, in general terms, is more valuable, or at
Impact
least
the game on a daily
has a
basis. Different.
larger impact on the game than a pitcher does. A guy that pitches every fifth day, every sixth day. Not to mention, Paul Skeens started the season in the minor leagues for the first month and a half of the season.
Right.
Jackson Merrill was on this roster every single day.
Yeah, man.
Played nearly every single inning. So
I'm with you. I'm all for two awards. Look, MVP and Cy Young are basically pitchers MVP and hitters MVP. There's the rare cases of like like Verlanders and guys like that who win MVPs as a pitcher, but it has to be like a down offensive year for some guys, and in his year has to be like absolutely ridiculous, right? Which it's really rare that it happens. But pitchers have an MVP, which is the Cy Young, and hitters have the MVP award. So why not have two Rookie of the Years? I think at some point we get to it. Look, it's the day and age we get in where like everyone's included at participation trophies. Like that's the world we live in now. It is what it is. So at some point you got to think there's gonna be two awards there because people are getting left out. And to your point, you start getting down the road. You start looking at Hall of Fame. You start looking. Those accolades matter, right?
American League, Cy Young. So Tarek Skubal was chalk.
Dominant.
Unanimous. After that, it went Seth Lugo finished second in the Cy Young race, and then Emmanuel Clase of Cleveland finished third.
So
However, in the MVP race, and I know what you're going to say is MVP and Cy Young is different. Emmanuel Clase, who finished third in Cy Young, got more MVP votes than Seth Lugo, and yet Lugo finished higher than Clase in the Cy Young race. It make sense.
I don't know how. Clase, I love seeing a reliever top 3 in Cy Young, and he deserved to be 0.61 ERA, right? And kind of the same thing with Judge, because they didn't finish the season well. We kind of forgot how dominant they were in the regular season through 162. Yeah. And Judge actually had a slow start. The first month he wasn't good.
Yeah.
And he still went on to hit 322, 58, and 146, something like that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
How about Cy Young on the National League or American League side of things? Obviously you're okay with
I do want to talk about Chris Sale.
Okay.
I mean, his story is tremendous. Right? I mean, he's had 6 top 5 finishes in his career. 2017, he finished second behind Corey Kluber. He finished third in 2014. Those were his best finishes. He's, like I said, he has 6 top 5. I know Zach Wheeler had any other year he wins a Cy Young. His season was unbelievable. But no pitcher has ever won had the triple crown on the pitching side and not won the Cy Young. So you do that, you're winning it. And it was kind of cool that we had 2 guys do it this year, right? It's the first time. There's only been 2 times that's actually ever happened. The last one was 2011, and it was Verlander and Kershaw, where they both won the triple crown. That's the only other time both guys did it. Thought that was pretty cool. But back to Chris Sale. You look at the roller coaster of his career. He was 7 or 8 time All-Star, 7-time All-Star, 7 years in a row, something like that. was on the road to Cooperstown. I think we can agree.
Yeah.
Um, and then, for those like 4.5 years straight in Boston, there's just like freak injuries. Well, the first one was Tommy John. He's come back from Tommy John. That's not a freak injury. That happens to most guys. Um, there was some issues coming back from that. His stuff wasn't as good, which is normal right when you come back. Then you get the comebacker breaking the finger. You have the bike accident breaking his left arm. You have all these things, and he comes back and he's just really not the same dude. He's on and off, kind of just waiting for the next thing to go wrong because that had been the story for 4 or 5 years with him. And at this point, you're thinking this he's washed. Like this is gonna be his legacy now of this. Like he was so good. Like what could have been? He's just hurt, and he's just gonna be forgotten. Well, the Red Sox give up on him, which it was the right move. He wouldn't have done this in Boston. It was a product of a scenery change, and he needed it. Because it had become mental with him too, and he was a great teammate. He worked hard. But in the back of his mind, you knew he was like, "All right, what's the next thing that's going to happen to me?" And you can't have that as a professional player and be at your best when you're always have that negativity rooted in the back of your mind. So he was able to get out and go to Atlanta, and his stuff changed too. You start looking at like usage. He threw a slider more than his fastball. So I think, and he still has gas in the tank, right? Like he's still 95 to 97 when he wants to be, but he was able to pitch more 92 to 95 because he threw his slider more. He changed his changeup when he went over to Atlanta. I saw the pitching ninja video where he talks about seam shifted wake and how guys started like trying to cut their circle changes, like the thought of like not rolling it, not pronating, but supinating, like the thought of getting around it. And what it does is it kills the spin. So, and when you kill spin, you kill vert, right?
Does it act more like a cutter?
No, it just goes straight down.
Okay.
So the more spin that you can kill, the more vertical drop you get on your pitch.
Okay.
That's why a sinker has way less spin than a four-seamer. Obviously, the way the ball and the aerodynamics of like the seams and the wind hitting the seams on a two-seamer obviously act different as well, but it also spins less. But anyways, so he changed his changeups. It's more of not as much of a fader, and now more of it looks like the fastball and just kind of dives. Almost acts like a split, but splits have less spin. So what do? They go straight down.
Mm-hmm.
So he changed his stuff. He was open to learning and changing, even though he had so much success pitching a certain way. But he realized like I'm getting older. I need to evolve. And I would say he's right back on the road to Cooperstown. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer right now, but I'm saying if he's got 3 more good years in him, like that you can consider like part of his peak, even though there was a valley there in the middle for 4 or 5 years. He'll get votes at some point.
I'm curious. I'm just looking this up as I speak. I wonder how his career numbers right now compare to those of like a Tim Lincecum.
Well, right now I'd say he's 50 plus WAR. I'd say he's
actually,
like
yeah, he's far surpassed Lincecum actually. Yeah, 19.
He's like a 50. Is he like a 53 WAR guy?
Yeah, you nailed it. 53.3.
Okay, so I remember seeing that at some point, like a Baseball Reference, but he's gonna have to get at least to like 65, 60, 60, 60. I think 60 is probably the bottom as far as Hall of Famers go, right?
Sounds right.
I would say the average pitcher WAR is probably north of 70, 72, 73.
Career leaders.
Look up average WAR of Hall of Fame pitchers.
I mean, you're about right. Like 60 is about the threshold. Like Andy Pettit's at 6.7 didn't get in. Mark Burley.
Andy Pettit was more because of PED use.
Mark Burley 60.0 did not get in.
He should get in. By the way, 455 hitter against Mark Burley.
Proud of you. How about Roy Halladay?
I never faced him. I only faced him in spring training.
And how'd you do?
Ground outs. He never punched me out. I ground out a bunch though. That sinker was nasty.
That's facing Roy Halladay in a nutshell. I never struck out. Like the fact that you have pride in that is Roy Halladay.
Yeah, but he didn't want you to strike out. He wanted you in the first 2 pitches to hit a ground ball so he could pitch longer.
Yeah.
He pitched you into ground balls. He wasn't trying to strike you out unless he had to.
You know who you did love? R.A. Dickey.
Yeah.
I
didn't face him a lot though.
You love Dickey.
Okay, dude.
How about
Um,
American League Rookie of the Year? I know you had some thoughts on Luis Hill won it. Yankee starting
um,
pitcher.
yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I just thought I don't hate the win. I don't hate that Lewis Hill won. I thought he was very good. And if we're talking about Hill for a second, um, he had one really good month where he had 6 starts and he pitched to a .7 ERA in May. The rest of his months were around 4.5, which is good. Um, he has tremendous stuff. He has electric stuff. He has issues with control, of controlling that, honing it in. That's part of being a young pitcher, with good stuff. But I think what made him so important was he stepped up when the team didn't have Garrett Cole, and he put up Garrett Cole numbers
Hmm.
in May.
Yeah, that was huge.
So he stepped up big, and he was a big part of their success. Him, Clark Schmidt. I mean, obviously Cole came back. What he was like up and down. He finished strong, but he wasn't quite right coming off his injury. Carlos Rodon looked better this year. Stroman covered some innings for him. He was good as far as like a back end of your rotation guy. So, um, I'm okay with him winning. I was just more pissed that Wilyer Abreu wasn't a finalist, and that's probably showing my Boston bias. But if by the numbers, Wilyer Abreu had better years than most of these guys. So, especially Austin Wells, and I like Austin Wells. I thought he had a very good season. He had fourth behind Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. Um, he's a good player, and he will be for a long time. But I thought Wilyer Abreu had a better season.
The numbers indicate that.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
253, 15
And,
bombs, 3 point.
and hey, you want us to talk about this? Wilyer won a Gold Glove in right field at Fenway Park, which is the hardest right field in baseball.
Yeah.
He's a special defender. He's got an absolute cannon. He can go get it, and the dude can hit. He's like a foul pole to foul pole. He's got some pull pop. He's got some hop up pop too. He's a good, really good player. He could get moved this offseason, honestly, for like a in a crochet deal or something like that.
Ooh,
He'll
interesting.
he'll be he'll be a name that a team would want, but they're gonna want like Casas. They're gonna want like Connor Wong. They're gonna want probably Abreu because they know the Red Sox have an overabundance of left-handed hitting outfielders, especially with Roman Anthony on the verge of getting to the big leagues. Jared Duran just did what he did, so we'll see.
One of my favorite things to do with MVP voting and MLB awards is look at guys who received votes, not first
Yeah,
place votes, but just like 10th place, ninth place. Ezekiel Tovar of the Rockies received a ninth place vote and a 10th place vote.
he won a Gold Glove.
23-year-old shortstop. Colorado is interesting. They're not good, but they have interesting players. Brent Doyle, Tovar, they still don't have any pitching at all.
Right,
American League, relief pitcher Tyler Holton, who wasn't even really like their closer. He had 9 saves.
brother. He was so important to that team.
He was, and he received a 10th place MVP vote for it.
I That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
He's gonna
really cool.
on his baseball reference page, it's gonna say MVP dash 10.
10. Yeah. Tyler Holt, lefty reliever. Like he would open for them. He would come in late like leverage spots. The back, their bullpen was fun.
Yeah.
Like Will Vest was nasty. Um, who's this other guy? Oh my God. Brant Holder.
On Detroit.
Yeah. Is that his name? Holder?
I'm getting there. So they had Jason Foley, Tyler Holton, Will Vest, Bo Brisky,
Brisky was nasty too.
Beto, Brant Herder, Joey Wentz,
Herder.
Brant
Brent
Herder.
Herder. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
he's
filthy.
6-1 with a 2.58 ERA.
Yeah, brother. They got some dudes in that pen that nobody really knew about. And then what was crazy is when I was doing that series in Houston, the wild card series, all these guys that were like averaging, 95, 96, were all of a sudden like Will Vessel's chilling 99 to 100. Because like the adrenaline and the significance of the game and the batters that you're facing, the Bregmans and the Altuves, and good Lord, man, that bullpen was fun. And Jason Foley's throwing like 100-mile-per-hour sideways balls up there, that
Yeah.
sinker. They're gonna be good. They're gonna have to go get some guys though. They can't just continue with what they have. They need like another good starting pitcher because they ran so many bullpen games out there this year.
You say
Like
that, but they got rid of Dodger Jack Flaherty, and they were they still made a run at it.
crazy, right?
Yeah,
When
I
they did
did.
that, I was like,
It
oh,
didn't make any sense.
they're packing it up.
Yeah.
And then they went on that crazy run from August and early August. Yeah, right after the deadline.
Yeah.
I heard Jake Rogers on the radio talking yesterday. I think he was talking with like Jim Bowden on MLB Network Radio. And there was like they asked him, they're like, well, you guys trade Flaherty. Like, are you thinking like that's it for this year? And he was kind of like, honestly, we were just kind of like, fuck it. Like he didn't say that, but like he was like, it was kind of like he said, screw it. He was like, we're we have a fun young team. We play fast. We're aggressive. We love each other. See, let's just screw it. Let's see what happens. And that mentality is so dangerous when you feel like you're playing with house money in the big leagues, and you're playing with these teams that when you're playing a team like Houston or somebody that has to win, you have like Alex Bregman and these guys who are they playing their last game there? Do you have to win so you can retain them and they'll re-sign? You know, it's like there's a lot of pressure on those teams. When you go in with no pressure because there's no expectations because you're not supposed to be good, fucking dangerous. With AJ Hinch too. AJ Hinch is awesome.
If God forbid my house ever caught on fire and a loved one or God forbid a dog was stuck inside, I want no one in the country, no one in the world would I want saving my dog more than Jake Rogers. Chief
Dude,
Jake. He has the look of a fire chief.
I have a weird connection with him. Um, he's from Canyon, Texas, which is like West Texas, Northwest Texas. And when I was a senior in high school, we won a state championship in football, which is a big deal in Texas. And you play like 5 or 6 rounds in the playoffs. Like it's almost a whole nother season. We
Mm-hmm.
played 10 regular season games and then pretty sure we played 6 games in the playoffs to win a state championship. And the game right, so the state semifinal game, we had to win it to get into the championship game. We played Canyon.
Mm.
And we met them in West Texas. We lost the coin flip, so we had to go to this place called Sweetwater. It's like in the middle of nowhere, West Texas. And this like you drive up and you just see lights. And you're like, what? You don't see a stadium, you'll see stands, nothing. It's like a bowl cut into the ground, like because it's so windy there. It's West Texas. And they were the dirtiest team, brother. Like they were cheap shotting us. Like it was, and we kicked the shit out of them, went to the state championship and won. But when I was like Googling them and like looking because I knew I was going to have an interview with them before I did the game on radio, and I was going on our pregame show, and I looked up like Canyon, Texas. I was like, I started like twitching. I'm like, I hate those guys. I could like picture their uniforms, and I talked to him about it, and he's like, no way. That he's so nice. Like you've heard him talk. He's like the best guy ever. But I was like, man, I got to tell you about Canyon, Texas. It was funny. He was good.
That's
Dude.
great. Are you going anywhere for Thanksgiving? Any big plans next week?
I'm cooking here.
You are
Uh,
cooking.
well, Jenny and I'm doing the turkey. I'm
Well,
always in
have
charge of the
have
turkey.
have fireman Jake Rogers on speed dial just in
You
case.
want to hear my turkey plans real quick?
All right.
All right. So I'm doing on the smoker. I'm doing on the Traeger. Shout
Oh,
out
nice.
Traeger. I love it. Um, do you know what spatchcocking a turkey is? Sounds dirty, but it's not.
No comment. No, I do not.
So you cut out the spine of it, and then you like flatten it. You like crush the breastbone so it sits more flat.
It's like a smash burger.
It kind of it cooks faster because it's more even. It's not like
Yeah.
in a ball. And so I'm thawing it right now. It's gonna be thawed Monday morning. I'm gonna spatchcock it. You love that word, weirdo. But gonna do that, and then I'm gonna put it in I have like a bucket of baseballs out there. I'm gonna empty it, clean out really well. I'm gonna do a 24-hour brine. Brine is where you season like water and everything. It's like you brine a turkey so the moisture gets into it and it's hard to dry out. You have to really overcook it. And brine it for 24 hours, take it out. I'm gonna dry it for like 24 hours, which is like in the fridge, but you just like that way because if you cook it right after you brine it, it doesn't brown up and get crispy because the moisture in the skin.
Mm.
You're learning things right now. All right, so I'm gonna let it sit in the fridge for 24 hours. Take it out. We're eating Wednesday. Wednesday morning, I am going to inject it with like garlic butter and seasoning. I'm gonna get under the skin, put like butter.
Oh,
All right.
this
So
this
that way,
conversation started dirty and it's ended dirty.
and it's in and dirty. And then I'm gonna season it heavy on the breasts. And then I'm gonna smoke it at about 275 for like probably 3.5 hours. It cooks like way faster when it's laying flat like that. So I'm gonna document it because I'm using a couple of my buddies' seasonings they made, and I want to like help them out. So, shout out Meat Church and Meat Therapy. Yeah,
Send me a photo.
Jenny's like good at like TikToks and stuff. I don't have TikTok. I don't. Yeah, it's not my thing.
I don't have it.
Instagram's enough. Twitter is more than enough.
Yeah.
I don't need to see. I don't need it. So, I'm gonna have her help me like put something together so we can put a reel. That's the word. The reel out there.
Have fun with the kids. Have fun with the family.
What are you doing? You didn't tell me. Yes, you want to make one of my spatchcocking. You didn't tell me.
There will be no spatchcocking in California. Well, there probably will be, not in my household though.
Sure.
My wife is working Thursday and Friday, so we will have our Thanksgiving on Saturday. Probably, I think we're still kind of figuring out plans. So
yeah, we're gonna have Jenny's like mom and dad over, stepdad, like family. Small, like 8 people probably.
Have the bourbon ready to go, baby.
Oh, come on, baby. Where is it? Over here. We'll be ready.
This episode was, I'm gonna have to mark it as NSFW with that turkey explanation.
Yeah, let me spatchcock that. I was gonna say something. I can't remember. It's hard for me to like forget what I'm gonna say. I don't know. Whatever. Our next episode will be free agent starting pitchers, though. That will be a good one.
Download, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, people. Have a great Thanksgiving. Willie, talk soon, buddy.
Love yous.